Our friend Vijay was wearing a very sad expression and he expressed, being labeled as below average in verbal reasoning is really affecting my confidence, he said. He looked towards Suresh and said, Suresh, how did you manage to secure a position in the 75th percentile? Pusha also was concerned and looked at George and said, George, is there anything we can do to improve our verbal reasoning? Friends like Vijay, it's tough when you feel that you're not meeting expectations as required, right? But before we dive into the methods of improving verbal reasoning, it's important to recognize what constitutes a good score. A good score can be based on the specific text and its context. However, one universally acknowledged truth is that a robust verbal reasoning capacity is a definite advantage. Come join me and let's explore the 7 effective strategies to enhance your verbal reasoning skills. Friends, it's a no-brainer if I ask you to start reading books now, which I know you do. But what is important is what you read. Try regularly to read diverse material such as articles, newspapers, novels, and academic publications. It exposes you to varied writing styles and topics and aids in improving your comprehension. And that brings us to strategy 1. Expand your vocabulary. When you diversify your reading, you automatically start expanding your vocabulary. You will come across different words and also find the same words used in different contexts and may mean different things. Like the word bark. It may be the bark of a dog or it may be referring to the bark of a tree. Thus, it depends on how it is used. So actively work on expanding your vocabulary by learning new words and practicing their use in daily communication and writing. When I was in college, we did not have our dear friend Google. So we used to use a book called Word Power Made Easy by Norman Lewis. And I was surprised that after so many years, Gen Z still uses it to prepare for CAT. Now that brings us to strategy number 2. Practice active reading. Along with your diverse reading, you should develop the habit of active reading. Active reading? Yes, active reading involves questioning, summarizing, and reflecting on the content you are reading. Remember those days in school where your teacher prompted you to read sections from the textbook? I had a teacher who was different. She used to tell us to read certain sections of the textbook at home first, mark difficult words, find their meanings. And next day during her class, in random, she would pick someone and ask him to read a paragraph from that assigned section. She would suddenly stop him and ask some other student to explain what was read in his or her own words. Then, if some difficult word came along, she would ask a third student the meaning of it. Now, if you fail to meet her standards, you would be standing on the desk till the end of class. Only later in life, I realized that this lady was developing our active reading skill. That is, to be able to identify the main ideas, the supporting details, and the author's arguments or perspective. Following this process of active reading helps comprehending and analyzing written or spoken information. It aids our cognitive ability to draw logical conclusions from written or spoken content. That brings us to strategy number 3. Learn to make notes. As you engage in diverse and active reading, another crucial skill that needs to be developed is that of making notes. That is, capturing the essence of the talk or material read in written format as a quick reference. When you move from school to college, there is a shift from spoon feeding to independent learning. That is, the person giving you the knowledge is no longer called a teacher, but a lecturer or a professor. That is because at higher education levels, the teaching style changes and involves more of one-way communication, with lecturer delivering information to the student. And that is where the practice of note-taking while reading or listening to lecture becomes an asset. It is akin to a skill of précis writing. Weren't we taught that in school? That is, to be able to summarize key points and identify relationship between different pieces of information and then provide a summary as a quick reference. By the way, till now, friends, we have just dwelled on 3 of the 7 strategies that help in developing verbal reasoning. These belong to the subset of making information gathering efficient. The next 3 strategies we will delve in the next episode will be on presenting information effectively. As I leave you, take a moment to rekindle these simple yet often forgotten skills from your school days, which we have forgotten as we moved up the education ladder. This is me, Group Captain Ranjit Isaac, your performance augmenter and brand strategist, saying bye for now and Jai Hind, take care.